There is an artwork that could hypothetically put me in a conflict with the law. But before I explain why, let me show you what it is and how it works. I was invited to exhibit this piece at an event focused on sound and objects. My works fit exactly into both categories, so I was happy to show it alongside other artists in one of the old Baťa shoe factories in Slovak town Partizanske, now turned into a cultural space. But back to the piece. Technically, it's a sound object or automatized musical instrument playing melody on beer bottles. The way the sound is created is quite tricky and one of the most interesting part of the whole construction, except for one thing we will talk about later. Here is the short version how it works. There is a compressor. The air travels into this box. Inside is a splitter that feeds 6 air nozzles. Each nozzle connects to a hose, and each hose leads to a specific beer bottle with a matching number. Each of the 6 nozzles has its own servo motor controlled by an Arduino. The Arduino opens whichever hose needs to play a note, and if the angle of the airflow hits the bottleneck just right, a tone appears. Which won't be as easy as it sounds. If that felt like a lot, don't worry. We will go through everything slowly during the installation. And if you like it already, leave a like, it helps a lot. Let's move on to the installation. First, I need to place all components in the place. Find the right composition so the piece works visually and functionally. At this stage, I think about where the viewers enters from, what they should see first, what pulls them in or triggers curiosity. I basically try to step into the viewer's mind as someone who doesn't know what's coming. Imagine what would work on me, and then I just hope for the best. I loosely lay out the hoses and components where they will probably go. The fine adjustments come later. Then I tested electronics to see if anything even works, because as you can see, my very elegant, very professional setup is a bit accident prone. This is honestly a privilege of art compared to engineering. Solution can be messy, trashy, and still be part of the aesthetic. If it works despite looking like it will fall apart any second, that only makes it more kind of interesting and curious. Which would absolutely not be funny in a rocket going to space, but in art is totally chill. If you like this kind of stuff, hit the subscribe, I've got a lot coming and I don't want you to miss it. So, in the meantime, I got another beer box, I don't know how it is called in English, tell me in comments, from production, so I can finally start dealing with the bottles. As I said earlier, I had no idea how much pain these bottles would cause this time. They have to play a specific melody, and that means each bottle must be tuned to a precise pitch and assigned to a correct hose. And I tune bottles with water. The higher level of water is in bottle, the higher tone bottle produce. I usually start by filling the bottle with the lowest note with a random amount of water and then tune the rest into a 6-note minor scale. This time I randomly began on the note G. After a while the bottles were tuned and then I could start calibrating the hoses. Bottle can produce a low tone or a higher overblown tone. Ideally, all bottles should play in the same register, otherwise the melody becomes chaotic, full of jumps in pitch and volume. To calibrate, my assistant Lucia opens the airflow to a specific hose while I adjust the angle and distance until I find the sweet spot. I tried setting all bottles the same way, but the hose is not a human mouth. Its ability to shape and direct air is limited. That caused some bottles to produce a tone with extreme difficulty. I tried tuning them all to the low register, then all to overblown one, I changed air pressure, but nothing worked properly. The pitch was jumping, air was leaking from one nozzle, and one node refused to play completely. I think that was likely an acoustic issue, because every object has a natural resonant frequency based on its material and shape, and the random key I tuned the bottles into might have clashed with the natural resonance of the bottle. But that's just my theory. So I tuned everything up a whole tone into A minor scale instead, which became an endless process of adding single drops of water because the bottles were already fixed in place, and if I overfilled them, I'd have to take the whole thing apart. But eventually, somehow, bottles were tuned. We were almost out of patience, but we've got it done. After more than 3 hours of setup, we finally reach a satisfying result, take a break, and get ready for the next day exhibition opening. This is one of the most technical complex PCs I've ever built. In the beginning, I wasn't sure I could even pull it off, but with the help of my friend David, who worked on electronics and programming, we somehow did it. And this is maybe one advice for you. I want to encourage you to do networking, contact your friend with the skill you don't know, because networking is king. Okay, so we have a machine that plays a melody on beer bottles. But why would anyone get into legal trouble because of that? That's a good question. Because things get complicated the moment we consider what the melody actually is, and even more when we look at the timing of when this was built. Why this melody might be sensitive? In this video I only showed you the technical layer, but there is a second layer I want to open and describe deeply in the next part. And then you will understand why I didn't want to reveal the melody before giving you the full context. If you are curious why a single melodic line can be problematic, continue to part 2.